Boo! Happy Halloween and welcome to the scary edition of the LCS Cooking Kit Cook Along video. Today we are going to be making a horrible selection of recipes using your pumpkin, some cream, vegetable stock and chilli flakes. The first of our ghoulish creations is terrifying toasted pumpkin seeds. Then we're going to use the flesh of the pumpkin to make scary pumpkin soup. And then finally, we're going to use the outside of the pumpkin to make a horrific jack-o'-lantern to scare all the children and adults in the world. So the first thing that we need to do is get all the insides out of the pumpkin. Now to do this, you want to chop the top off and you want to scoop all the insides out. Now please be careful because you're going to need to use a knife for this. So just dig your knife in, be really careful and just cut a circle out the top. No children should do this, adults only. Oh, let's stick off. Now just take your time. I find it easy if you just do it in little sections, but whatever you think's easiest. There you go. Once you've done that, you can just lift the top off, and there's all your insides. Once you've got the top off your pumpkin, you want to get another bowl so that you can scoop all the insides into the bowl. So you can start with your hands if you want, or get a spoon and just start carving away. Can take a little bit of time and just to get all the flesh out, but keep going. You want to get as much out as you possibly can. So just keep digging away to get as much of that flesh and the seeds out as you can. When you're cutting your pumpkin out, you want to get all, not just the stringy stuff out, but the edges, because this will help it when you make sure you've got lots of insides for your soup, but also make it easier when you're carving your pumpkin. So if you get a spoon and just dig away and get as much of that insides out, then it'll be worth your while. So when you're carving it, I find it easier if I put it on its side and I scrape all the way around, then turn it. And keep doing that, and look how much stuff you get out. Okay, so I've been scraping away for a couple of minutes and all the inside of my pumpkin is out. I ended up having to get a bigger bowl because so much came out. Okay, so we're going to start off with the pumpkin seeds. So once you've got all your insides out, what you want to do is pull out the pumpkin seeds. Now you might want to do this as you're doing the flesh, but I didn't. So just pull as many pumpkin seeds out. Well, you want to pull them all out and put them into a bowl. Doesn't matter if a little bit of the other bit gets inside. So I've now separated all my pumpkin seeds from the other bits, the insides. What you want to do is rinse these seeds in some cold water just to get them so it's just the seeds, because as you can see there's still some other bits. So just rinse those out, get just the seeds and then put them on some kitchen paper just to dry out for a couple of seconds. Okay, what I've found is if I've put some water into here, some cold water, so I'll give them a rinse, but then I've just filled the bowl with water, and as you can see all the seeds float to the top, so you can easily just scoop them out and put them onto the kitchen paper. Okay, so I've got my seeds on some kitchen roll, kitchen paper, kitchen roll, and I'm just gonna get some more and just pat them dry like this. Then you want to put your oven onto 180 degrees or gas mark 4. Okay. So once you've dried your seeds out and you've put the oven on, let's take the paper off. And you want to get a baking tray and you want to put all your seeds onto the baking tray. So all my seeds are on the baking tray. You want to get a little bit of oil. If you don't have any oil, it's fine, you can dry bake them, but just drizzle a little tiny bit of oil on. Don't need a lot. And then mix that round. And then add any spices that you want. So we've given you crushed chili flakes, so just put some on there, but you can also use cumin, garlic, anything you want to spice them up. So as much heat as you want if you're using the chili flakes. Give them a good mix around, and you want to put them in the oven for roughly about 10-15 minutes, or until they're golden. So my pumpkin seeds are done. They're nice and golden, so if you just leave them to cool on the tray, and then once they're cold or cool, put them in an airtight container and they'll keep for a little while. They're great as little snacks or to add on top of your soup. So for your pumpkin soup, you need the inside of your pumpkin and an onion which has been chopped up finely, and then you'll need your stock cubes and your cream. So first thing to do is to put a little bit of oil or butter in your pan. If you don't have oil, butter's fine. If you don't have oil or butter, it's fine to do it dry. So a little bit of oil in the pan, and then put that on a low heat. So I've got my oil in my pan, just on a lowish medium heat. I'm going to add my onions, and we're just going to stir those and cook them just for a few minutes, just till they soften. You don't really want to colour them, so make sure your heat isn't too high. So my onions have been cooking for about 5 minutes. They're really soft now, not got any colour, but they're kind of starting to go see-through. So then next you add your pumpkin. Oops, there's some sneaky seeds in there, oh dear. If you see any seeds, pick them out, don't burn yourself. But then add your pumpkin, give it a good stir to mix it with the onions, and let that cook for about 8 to 10 minutes until it starts to go a bit golden. So the pumpkin's been cooking away for about 10 minutes, it's getting soft now, so next thing to do is to get a stock cube and sprinkle it into a jug, and then top it up with 350 ml of boiling water. Give it a good mix, and then add that to your pan, stir away, bring it to the boil, and just let it simmer, turn it down and simmer for another 10 minutes. So my pumpkin is really soft now, so it's ready for the cream. So I've measured out 75 millilitres of the double cream, which I'm just going to add to the pan. Give it a stir around, make sure it's all mixed in. So you can choose what to do next with your soup. If you want to keep it quite chunky, you can leave it like this. You can pour it through a sieve to help smoothen it out, or you can use a blender or a hand blender to get it really, really smooth. I'm going to use a hand blender on mine, but it's totally up to you. Also, if you wanted to add any seasoning at this stage, salt and pepper, do that, just to taste. So it's however you like it. There you have it. Pumpkin soup with toasted pumpkin seeds and a little bit of cream, just to make it look fancy. With any leftover soup that you have, you can stick it in a Tupperware and put it in the fridge. It'll be okay to keep for a couple of days, or you could put it in the freezer and just get it out and reheat it thoroughly when you want to eat it. So now you've done all the cooking, it's time to make your pumpkin lantern. All you need is a knife just to cut your shape out, and a pen to draw it on beforehand. A dinner knife is fine, it doesn't have to be a super sharp knife, but please be careful, we don't want any accidents or there to be any confusion between real blood and fake blood. There's loads of ideas on the internet if you have a look on Pinterest or even just Google pumpkin lanterns. And once you've carved your lantern, take a picture of it, send it to your PA, and you'll be entered into a competition to win some vouchers of your choice. So get creative, get scary, and let us know how your pumpkin lanterns look. Before you start carving your pumpkin, it's good to have a look at it and see if there's any like gnarly bits or horrible bits, because they can add to your design. So I'm going to have this bit because it looks a bit gross, like a bit like a scar. And then once you've got your design idea, you can get a pen and just draw it on. It just helps you to think about what your lantern's going to look like. So I've drawn my design onto my pumpkin, and now it's time just to start carving it out. So be careful. When there's things that are really close, it's easy to slip and kind of cut into the intersections you don't want. So just try and not to leave too small a gap between different bits that you're cutting out. And yeah, just be careful using your knife.